So here it is. I've unboxed this thing. It's a 43-gallon dual chamber compost bin. It gives you the size of it. I'm assuming that that's the size once it's all together. It only weighs like 18 pounds, so, I don't think it's a super big one. That's the brand. You can pronounce it. I'm sure you can. She got this through an online place. I can't even remember the name of it. It's not something I'm accustomed to hearing. In any event, I took the time to get it out onto the bench. Now let me move this. And I laid out all the parts to make sure everything was there. Something you guys, that's what we do. And so everything is organized. I got the directions. There's the metal frame, the plastic ends. Then there's a middle piece. It goes right down the center, so you have like two bins. And then these are the panels that form the barrel. And one of the panels here has these two little nifty doors that slide open. So you can throw your stuff in, one side or the other. And then theoretically you roll it, kind of like a cement mixer. It rolls and the stuff breaks down and everybody gets happy. I opened up the screw and nut case here. I got those ready. They gave me this nifty set of tools, which, they're handy, I guess, but come on. Look at this. That's all I can do to hold this thing. So I'm putting those aside for posterity, and I'm replacing them with my actual tools. And wouldn't you know it, this takes a 10mm socket, and I'm lucky to say that I have one. So only one, but I was able to find it. They also sent a pair of gloves, and they have claws. There's plastic claws on the ends of the fingers. We'll mess with those later. So right now what I have to do is, according to the instructions, I have to assemble as you can see, this upright framework that will hold the whole contraption. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, the directions are showing to take one from column A, one from column B. There's a little push button there to connect it. It's like an easy latch. And this goes like this. There are two of these. These will be the legs where they go in the ground. And these babies. These attach like this. This attaches like this. This piece here gets attached right on the top of this. But before we do that, I have to install the bin. That's your middle piece. That's one end. And that's the other end. I take these two bolts. I don't know if you can see this. And I'll put the claws out of the way. I located the two nuts for this. I had to swap out the sockets for a longer one. There we go. Okay. Now, these go in this manner. I'm trying to remain positive. The instructions are showing assemble this, but it came assembled, so there you go. So I guess what we're going to do is we'll put this one on first. Okay, off camera, I got this. There's a little channel in the back here. And this piece here, this edge, fits right in there. And then the holes, so far, the holes line up. So I put this piece on first. This is with the two sliding doors. Now what I'm going to do is, with some difficulty, proceed to wrap these pieces around. And what I think I'm going to do is lay it down, because the heavy end's always going to want to flop down, and that's where I have to work. So, excuse me. We're going to move this stuff, and we're going to lay this thing down. Another hit of coffee. Now that, as I said, that side there is the only odd side. All the rest are the same. So if we, it's not going to work. Yes, it is. Okay. I have to take this screw out. And remember, if you're not a senior, you can't do this. The younger kids wouldn't do it. I guarantee you. They throw their hands up in there and they hire someone to do it. I gotta take out 3 screws. This is what I don't like about the directions. They have the pictures showing how the pieces kind of fit together, but nowhere in there does it say, you know, do this one first, and make sure you don't put these 3 screws in before you go to the second panel, because you're going to have to take them out. In the old days, when there were directions written, the person that wrote them thoroughly understood how to put the thing together. That's my morning gripe. But if you're a senior, you've lived through this, so you understand completely. All right. Now, to take this has to fit inside that channel. I would show you the channel again, but it's difficult to see. It's all black. And okay. Now we'll have it. Okay, I did a couple of the panels off camera. There was a lot of colorful language. The holes didn't line up. I needed to use an awl to kind of straighten it out. I needed to take one panel off because it was done wrong. There is a method, apparently. Because you have to get this middle panel embedded into that slot. And of course it's all black. And I set up a shop light here so I could see what I was doing. Basically, see, you have a curved edge and then a straight edge. So it would go on in this manner where the curved edge covers at the top, but slides behind the sides. But at the same time, this piece here, you can see has got this angled part. That fits right into that groove. If you do not have that in that groove perfectly, this hole won't line up, nor will this hole here. And then throw into the mix that these panels have the nut embedded into the plastic. And that's great, you know, it saves you some help, but On some of them, when you start to screw the screw in, the nut drops out the other side. So that involves some extensive searching for lost nuts on the pavement here. I did notice that they gave me a couple extra nuts, so I'm sure other people have had the same problem. So right now, and then I took the two doors out when I could, because when I get down to the last one, I of course have to reach in to each bin and hold those nuts in there as I'm screwing in the screws and trying to align this panel. So I wanted to take this moment to show you this, and then once I get, I'm going to take you off camera and I'm going to put the last ones on, and then kind of clean up my language a little bit, and then I'll show you what it looks like. It's a little more difficult than I thought it would be, the way they have everything tucked together. However, being that you're using it for compost, you don't want stuff dropping out, as you know, it kind of makes sense, but dear Lord. Anyway, luckily she only bought one. So let me get started on this. And then here's another little tip. If you're doing this, you don't want to put the screws in over here at all, which I had done on the first panel. I did, both sides, and that wasn't working. You work right here on the corner. I got this panel fitted into place, and I'm going to do two screws here, one here, and two on that side, and I leave these loose. I need that loose because the next panel slides in here, underneath this, over that, underneath this, and then, oh boy, and then over this, I guess. I don't know. We're going to find out, but I got a sinking feeling this isn't going to be fun. Okay. Okay. We're back. You did not miss anything. I'm down to the last panel. Now, this panel has to fit like this. So, like I told you, I left these three holes unscrewed. I've got to slide this under this edge, over this edge, under this edge, and get this in this channel. And I have to somehow get this under this. I'm probably going to have to unscrew here and here to do that. This one's going to be a challenge. And I can't tell you how many times the preloaded nuts, like I told you, have dropped out. And I'm fishing around in these black holes for these little tiny nuts. And they kind of look like this. I mean, they're small. So I had to employ the use of my magnet to get in there, so I can just sweep the area and, it picks them up, and that's good. And like I told you, in some cases I had to use an awl to line up the holes, with one hand, while the other hand's inside the bin, making sure I don't lose the nut. So I'm going to attempt to do this. And I'll do it on camera just so you can see how difficult this is. Now I'm going to start by undoing these two screws. And it's screwed in up here, so it's not going to fall. But you may want to use a small screwdriver, battery operated screwdriver for this. I don't happen to use one, but anyway. If this looks like something you don't want to get involved in, then just, if someone asks you to do it, just tell me you have the flu or something, and they'll leave you alone. They'll get somebody else to do it. Okay. Now, this is the challenge. Again, I gotta get this lined up here. And that's imperative. That's what keeps that inner wall from going back and forth, because you have the bins loaded in different capacities, so. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it looks. I think I have that inner piece connected correctly. Oh. Aha. We just might have it. The sound of success. We're only buying one of these. I guarantee you. Not happy with that. And we're doing all this so we can make vegetation rot. It's kind of funny. We have a compost bin. It's just one of those round cones, and it's got a little door on the bottom. And the theory is you keep piling stuff in and it rots. And then when you want compost, you open the little door in the bottom and shovel it out. Well, that does not happen. We compost everything that we can that goes out there. Sometimes we're out there twice a day with a bucket, throwing stuff in that compost bin. It rots down. But we're not putting enough in to build it up at an even rate so that it rots before you can pull it out. Then it recommends turning it on occasion, which means you have to dig down into this hole and turn the stuff over. It just doesn't work right. So we just pile the stuff in there, and once a year, we undo it, pick it up like this, and we take that stuff and we sift it through a sifter and we salvage out what we can. Everything else goes back in the bin. Well, stop. It's, I don't know, 8,500 feet from the house. So even in the winter we go out, we take our compost out, you put a jacket on, your boots, and you walk out there. So if it snows, I snow blow a path to the bin. And it was working okay. It sounds like a lot of work to do that, but we had a little dog at the time, and the dog did not like to walk in the snow. She was a princess. So if you have a dog, I'm sure you understand that. So we would we would snow blow the path out to what we were saying. We'll blow a path out to the bin, and so we can go out there. But realistically, it was more for her. And we would go out there and circle around, and I'd do paths and stuff, and she would run around there in the winter, and do her stuff, and that worked out really well. Well, she passed on last year, so we don't really have a need to snow blow all these little paths in the yard. And while I miss her, I don't miss doing all the snow blowing out there. So a decision was made that we would have a bin. We would either move that bin, which isn't nice looking anymore. It's kind of beat up. So we wanted something closer to the house, nearby where the garden is. So we got this. And it'll be handy once we get it together. It'll be a lot less walking out in the snow. And the ground is uneven. And I went down a couple times. She went down a couple times. It's not fun, especially if the pot you're holding is filled with garbage, And then the animals come, And in the winter, we get a lot of scavengers. We get a fox that goes through a lot. When the raccoons are out, they're out there. No one has gotten into the bin. I don't want to say they didn't try, but we've never seemed to have we've never seemed to have a problem with anybody, any animal getting into the bin. And I think, we'll be okay with this. If you don't put meat scraps and, if you keep it with greenery, basically if you can grow it, you can compost it. And we kind of stick to that. Now we've been in this house for 23 years and we have composted every day. So, there's always at least one pot of coffee with all those grounds the filters and the eggs, and we do canning, so we got a lot of stuff from that. Two more screws, if I'm correct here. So we certainly agree with the concept. It's not working. In any case, we have high hopes for this, and I know I'll have pleasant memories someday of making it, putting it together. But probably not this week. Let me word it that way. Now I thought I had done this right. I'm down to this one last screw, which is important, but it's not connecting. So the problem we have, it's this middle panel again, and you can see how it's not in the groove. And somehow, that around the corner, that one's okay, but this whole section here is not in that groove. Okay, I managed to get it done. I've checked, I believe I have all the screws in. This was a challenge. It's easy to look at the directions and see the pictures, and when you examine the pieces, how slots fit into grooves and all that stuff. But as you got closer to finishing with the last panel, it became more and more difficult in order to get that center divider into the slots. And that, in the end, that's what got me at the very last piece. I had to actually put my shop light inside so I could see what I was doing, get in there with a screwdriver and force it in. I had to undo a couple more screws and do that. And if you're not familiar with fitting things together and hand tools and stuff, this is not a project for you. Us in the older generation, we've been through a lot of this stuff already, and we've shared our woes, way back when. So we kind of understand this, but it's still not fun. So, it's a pretty nice little unit. It rolls nice, and the doors open pretty easy. I'm hoping that the plastic will withstand our winter temperatures. And there's two solid bins here. Well, I say solid because now the inner wall's intact. There's little vent holes and stuff, so if you get water in there, like too much water, it can actually drain out, which, you would want that. So you would come out and during the morning and you'd throw your stuff in the bin, shut the door. Why they felt the need to have two bins, I'm really not sure. But it has, it needs to be turned a couple of times, but I would say that when you come out and threw something in, and you just, turned a little bit, that's gonna mix it up. So that's pretty much really all you need. And the wife wanted it so that she could open the door, park her cart here, and, excuse me, and dump it out, or a bucket or something. Or just scoop out what she needs. Sometimes she just needs a trowel. So that's that. Now I'm gonna set this down on the ground so you get a better feel for how tall it is, because, you know, obviously it's up on the bench. Okay, dimensions. This is a 4-foot bar. So it's about 33 inches to the top. And width-wise is about 24 inches. You can see the two separate doors, two separate bins. I think it's gonna work out well. I do not want to do another one. I'll be plain. It's honest, you know, I just don't want to do another one of these things. It was a pain, but I don't think I'll have to, okay? This is what I would call a 3-beer project. And you know what I mean. And while you're putting it together, I'd recommend that if you have young children in your immediate area that you may want to get them out of there due to the language constraints. But it works as intended. You have to have the door shut in order to turn it. 2 simple screws holding the bar onto the stand. Fill it, roll it, walk away and leave it. And I think that would work fine. I don't know, this has been a challenge. In any event, the tools I had to use were screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver and all. I needed a flat screwdriver to force that inner panel into the channel. Yes, I have extra screws. Don't know why, I cannot find where they go. I'm the happy owner of a really cheap new screwdriver and something they call a wrench. But the most important thing is I've got the claw. They put these in the package and they advertised it, you know, free pair of gloves. These aren't free, let me tell you. Nothing's free. That's one of the gloves. It's got a rubberized coating. And the other one has a claw on 4 of the fingers. I don't know, if I was gonna go in there, I would use a trowel or something, you know. I guess you can scoop stuff out. I don't know, I've never seen this, and only on one hand. So if you're left-handed, you know, go figure. But there it is. It works well, doesn't squeak yet. So we have to get this out into the garden area and she can start putting stuff in it. And we go on with life. I want to thank you very much for watching this video. And I want to let you know that I've been gone for a while, actually a couple of years, off on YouTube. And my videos are still out there. I think I have like 70 of them out there on how to do home repairs and stuff. And you'll see me, you know, cutting wood, and you'll see me up on the roof and all that stuff. And now that I've been diagnosed with spinal stenosis, and most days I'm in a lot of pain, so there's not a lot that I can do. So I'm kind of revamping my videos and my channel so that I can show you how I'm coping with it and what I can do, and then talk about what I can't, because I know if there's a lot of folks out there that if you're in my age, I'm 75, and these things happen to us, and it's not in our playbook. We didn't plan on it, we didn't think about it, and then all of a sudden, boom, one day you're in the ambulance going to the hospital. So here we are, and things still need to be done. I have a load of firewood coming in a couple days. They can't drive out back with it, so because of the wet ground, so it has to be dropped in the driveway and then hauled. It's like 8,500 feet out to the sheds. I was building a new shed when all of this happened to me, and that was going to be a video, and I had to abruptly stop and have someone else do it. I had, family and friends that came and helped. Basement flooded, why not? Snowblower broke down in the middle of a blizzard, yep, that's me. And so all of these things happened in a very short period of time, and I got overwhelmed, and at our age, we get overwhelmed. Things happen like that, and you have to let things settle down, sort it out, and find your way through it. So that's what I'm doing, and I thought that I would start sharing that with people, so, on a more regular basis, so that folks understand that you can pull yourself up by the bootstraps and we can keep going. We're from that generation that you can't knock us down easy. Or if you do, we're just going to get back up again. That's how we were raised, that's what we do. So I hope that in the future you're going to follow along and maybe even subscribe if you haven't, but that's okay, follow along and then see what I have to offer. I may even do in the winter when my ability to do stuff outside and everything is somewhat limited. We're talking about setting up a thing here where a couple days a week we have like a coffee show or something, and we just chat about what's going on, maybe a short little 15-20 minute thing, and I'm looking forward to doing that. I've got some good ideas, so I'm hoping to see you there. So if you could, if you've purchased one of these and went through this same dilemma that I just did, could you post down below how it went for you, and was it easy, was it hard, were you able to figure it out, were you given all the parts you needed, all that kind of business. Or if you're looking to purchase one of these, my wife says she got it on that Wayfair.com or something. I've never been on that site, so I really can't say yay or nay. But in any event, she's happy with it. So I guess that's all that matters, Been married 50 years, so if she's happy, I'm gonna be happy. That, and if you have other ideas for videos you'd like to see, or just general comments, please put a statement down below and let me know what state you're from. If you're from the United States, let me know what state you're from. But if you're from some other country, welcome. And just, put down there and from here or there, It's just interesting to see how far this information goes, I'm kind of somewhat new at YouTube. I have a lot of video. I've got like 70 videos out there, but they were in a short period of time, like from right before the pandemic through a few years ago, and then I stopped abruptly. But in any event, I'm back, and I want to make a go with this. And so, let me know what you got to say. I'll answer you. I'm up most of the time anyway, running back and forth, getting meds and stuff. So I've answered people at 4 in the morning, and they're kind of surprised at it. But if you're up, you're up. In any case, thank you very much. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I don't know what I'm going to do with these gloves.